Different academic disciplines have various standards for the sort of publication that matters. If you're in a journals discipline, you need to know how it all works. Ideally, you should choose a journal before you even write the paper. You want a journal that publishes papers on your topic, especially one that has published papers you cite. The reason to decide on a journal before you write is that styles and formats differ. Tailor your paper to fit the journal that you've chosen. After you finish writing your paper, but before you submit, make sure you look over your paper. Check for typos, tables that are split across pages, and so on. Make it professional. The journal review process is selective enough as it is, so you don't want to give an editor an easy reason to reject your paper. Once you've double and triple checked your paper for typos and other potential aesthetic pitfalls, you can start the review process, which is actually pretty straightforward. First, read the submission instructions, including the format requirements, carefully. You may need to submit an abstract and keywords as well. And depending on your discipline, the process may be single blind, which means your name appears, or double blind, meaning you have to take your name off the cover page and out of the references. Recognize this: when you submit your paper, it falls in the lap of a journal editor who has the discretion to desk reject your paper, which means reject it out of hand, with or without comments. That's a shame, but if it happens, it probably means you didn't check for basic fit or obvious formatting mistakes and typos in the first place. Go back and fix those problems and try again. If the editor does not desk reject, then you enter the review process. The editor selects at least 2 and often more anonymous referees. It's possible that the editor will look at related papers in the journal she edits to choose them. So make sure you cite those papers in the first place because you read the journal before you submitted your paper. Now comes the waiting game. The referees write 2 reports on your paper, which takes months and is frustratingly slow. One of the reports is for you to see, and the other, the secret report, goes to the editor. That one's usually much more negative. At this point, the editor compiles the reports, makes a decision, and writes you a letter explaining the decision. Likely outcomes? Rejection, which hurts but gives you feedback in the referee reports. Revise and resubmit, which means you get to try to account for the referee's objections. Conditional acceptance with revisions, which is great, but doesn't happen very often. If you get a reject, write the editor a note thanking her for her time. If the paper is not rejected outright, that's great. Write a substantive note telling the editor what your plans are. Do not argue with the decision at this point. It won't do you any good, and you're probably too mad to think straight, usually because the referees didn't understand your paper. Print out the editor's letter and the referee's reports. Use a marker to black out all the horrible, useless parts. The author is dumb, the paper is bad, and so on. Then systematically go through what's left and make changes or corrections. As you do this, make a note of your corrections to add to your cover letter for the resubmission. It will be hard later to remember everything you did, so do the revisions and the cover letter describing the revisions at the same time. This is your chance to respond to the reviewers. Be specific in your cover letter about the changes you made so that everyone can see what you did, and give specific reasons for your changes. Now that you've written your cover letter and made your revisions, it's time to resubmit your paper to the journal. All you need to do now is repeat these steps until the outcome is either reject or accept.